Today I'm going to answer the question, how can I assure my preferred candidate goes over the line when offered the role? In my 20 years in the recruitment industry, I've seen a formal offer not accepted by my client's preferred candidate too many times to mention. So I'd like to offer my best advice to hiring managers to keep a candidate locked in from interview to offer. First, at interview, you will have gained certain impressions of your candidate, and your candidate likewise will have gained impressions of you and the company. The aim is to validate a mutual feeling, the candidate wanting to proceed with you and you seeking to pursue the candidate. The key is to ensure the candidate knows this. It's well and good for you to be loving the candidate, but you need to let the candidate know. Again, I've seen too many candidates not proceed to offer when they have felt that they are not in consideration. My best advice is to leave the candidate wanting the job and seeing themselves as the employee working for you and the company at the end of the interview. It is quite difficult to generate this level of trust at the close of interview, but the more you can communicate in an employer-employee style, the more the candidate will start to visualise themselves as the employee. Second, after interview, call your preferred candidate with genuine interest and enthusiasm in them and reinforce your thinking toward them, the team, the division and the company. Again, reinforcing the future as if now. Also, make sure you cover any concerns they may have. It may go along the lines of, Joe, we know that you didn't get a chance to ask too many questions at interview and we were wondering if you had any queries. We were really impressed with you and could see you working well for all the reasons that come up at interview. So if there's anything that you need clarification on, we'd be more than happy to discuss anything that you're unsure of. Listen and respond. Probe if necessary. How do you feel about the scope of the role? What about the salary? Start date? Is there anything stopping you from moving ahead if we deemed you our preferred candidate? It is better to resolve these issues early than naively move to offer. Third, between interview and offer, often there is a process which could include reference checking, medicals, psychometric tests or other validation processes before an offer is made. An offer may be presented at interview, but I would strongly encourage you not to offer here, as the candidate may have a number of questions and concerns that they need alleviated before they are mentally ready to proceed. Generally speaking, the time between interview and offer can be 24 hours at the short end to 5 to 10 working days, especially if there is a second interview. My biggest tip, ensure you communicate with the candidate. I put emphasis on this as many managers and HR departments go through the process and do not inform the candidate what is going on, why there may be a delay and so forth. If the candidate is expecting an offer within 2 to 3 days, then a time frame extending beyond this throws them. You need to let the candidate know exactly what is transpiring behind the scenes and again, keep them informed as you would an employee. Fourth, as an offer is looming, ensure that you cover off any last-minute queries. Again, call your candidate and the conversation may go along the lines of, Joe, all seems to be heading in the right direction, so before we look to head towards offer, I just want to know if you would be comfortable with the role of, insert the title, at this salary, location, and the approximate start date you have in mind. Listen for any concerns and prepare to go back and cover any queries your candidate may have. If they are happy and the signs are good, then this is your green light to pursue to a verbal offer. Fifth, verbal offer. As you have covered off any concerns pre-offer, then the verbal offer should represent a smooth transition. It may go along the lines of, Joe, all your results and feedback from referees has been glowing. We are delighted to offer you the role of, on this salary plus benefits with an anticipated start date of your preferred start date. What are your thoughts? Again, be prepared for any last minute queries and with dignity and respect, look into these. Again, be prepared for any last minute queries and with dignity and respect, look into these. Know where you can and can't move and if there is some flexibility you can offer if required. 6, verbal offer to formal offer. This is critical territory. Why? Because the acceptance of verbal offer is not legally binding and is purely a waiting game until the candidate sees the formal offer. So you're not out of the woods yet. Also, this is the worst time as this can be painstakingly long for a larger organisation. I recently had a candidate accept a verbal offer on a Monday and he did not receive the formal offer until Tuesday the following week. When it takes time, ensure you are in verbal dialogue with your candidate during this time. Give them a call to arrange a cuppa. If you cannot fast track the formal offer, at least ensure there is momentum going forward to this exact end. Over 48 hours and you are in danger territory. Without communication, the momentum is broken and the candidate can start to think of and be offered alternatives other than the role in question. A classic example is if they are contemplating leaving their current company, not because they are desperately unhappy, they are just being rewarded less than they believe they are worth. With your verbal offer in hand, the candidate starts dialogue with their current employer. The longer it takes you to front with an offer, the more time you give their current employer or any other potential suitor to come into play with a better alternative. If you cannot get the offer to the candidate in an expedient manner, do something, anything in between to ensure they are still on side with you. 7th, formal offer accepted to start date. Most individuals who sign the offer are ready to leave their employer and start with you. However, I've seen the contrary as true. Again, there are usually 4 weeks prior to your incumbent commencing with your company. During this time, do not cease to communicate with them. Keep asking if all is okay. Give them advice on how to counter offers. If they are valued by their current employer, they may need it. And then switch over from candidate dialogue to employee dialogue. Start talking about some current projects or activities they will be involved with. Talk about the logistics of them starting. Whatever you do, keep talking. I have seen too many offers fall over on the basis that hiring managers and HR teams purely have not given the individual the attention they seek. And with nothing in the emotional bank account, it makes it too easy for your new recruit to ebb back into familiar territory, or worse still, accept an offer with a competitor that has given them more attention. To get your candidate over the line, err on the side of plenty than scarcity when it comes to communication. For more information or to gain further information around offers of employment, go to harvesthr.com.au or call us on 1300 363 128.